Look at him. Just laying there. Just, yeah, don't try to be interesting, guys. Just lay around. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, get up, you lazy bastards. You're not being paid to just sit around. Jeez. I tell you. Can't get good help these days. So I had a slight snag. Just a slight snag. So I was, and you, what are you loafing around? Run around and be pretty and majestic and stuff. I'll shoot you in the head. Yeah, I got a slight problem. Start my typical mine down to bedrock, so I have a place to store tailings. Smack dab into a wall of basalt. However, I did find an awful lot of coal down here. How much coal, you might ask? Oh, yay much. One very nice thing sit down, I'm liking about this version is this right here, sweeping hands. Now you have a choice when you get to this level of mining, which takes nothing. This is like passively earned XP. You can either take this or Lucky Break, which makes it so that when you break a rock, there, you don't get this great big extra chunk, right? Which is okay for cleanup. However, sweeping hands lets you do this. I'll you see a bunch of this, and whoop. That is sweeping hands trying to pick up everything in the area with one button press. That's an awful lot of chat spam. That's a lot of chat spam. However, when it comes for cleanup, it is absolutely awesome. It's good because my style of mining, yes, I've accumulated a bit of coal. My style of mining is literally to walk in and break rocks until there's no room left to break rocks, and then start picking stuff up. So for me, someone as haphazard and messy a miner as I am, it's absolutely amazing. You just hit E and it picks up until there's no room left in your inventory. I love it. Absolutely love it. Just had to run down here. Get hung up on stuff. I was like, okay, gimme. The chat spam could stand to be decreased. Just a bit. Just saying. Anyway, in the time between this episode and the last, which for you guys will be a few days, but for me is about a day or so. Here, this is how long I've been in game. There is one more growth stage to this being finished, and I've played enough that I can tell you that without having a soil sampler to tell me the maturity level. There's one more growth stage when all the heads in this week get really big. Then we can harvest a bunch of it. Had to expand the old house here because I need this. Build me a butchery table, which I could have swore I did. I hewed all my logs. Fudge. I'll have to get back to that. And of course, because the masonry table only wants a 0.02. Yeah, a 0.02 tier room, which is I went a little overkill underneath all the corners of these. Like the block beneath that one is hewn logs. Doesn't have to be. I just feel like bringing the level of the room accordingly. Eco will actually keep track of all the rooms. Like this building here. So this room is a volume of 81, which is 3 times 3 times 9. Bit of math there. but in terms of room composition, it keeps track of every block. How to put it? Every block within a 1 block radius of the open space of the room, right? So this block here counts. This corner block here counts. These count, those count. If I replaced one of those with something else like a tier 2, it would slowly increase the room value of this room. And this building might not even stay here. No, this one, I think this one's going to stay here. I'll add a couple more basic things up here, and then I'm going to have to move the whole operation down here onto the flats. Because there's no room up there to build. And in order for me to get to eventually get down into that mine, my options are either go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 8 ramps worth. This lets me do it in 3. Put not stockpiles, but processing buildings over here. Plus, I got a much nicer view of. I was gonna say I got a nice view of the sea. Unfortunately, I had a nice view of a tiny little patch of desert. What do you? Clean that up. That's disgusting. I get a nice view of this ugly ass little desert. Yeah, it's okay. You're on the clock. You're by the hour, right? This little patch of desert here, which and it's the game deciding that wolves are plants, so they render in the way plants do. I'll probably have to build kind of like the last time. Build along the waterfront here. But what we'll do is 3 high rooms with a street on top of it. If you get what I'm saying, right? Like, this would be level with this here. Except this would be mortared stone or road or something like that. Actually, it would have to be mortared stone, because road is a tier 0 material, no matter what it is, I think. Which would mess up the quality of whatever room that is. Right, so we'd have a U2. We can put stuff like bakeries and kitchens and stuff down here. Have a nice view of the waterfront. Eventually, go to map here. Eventually, I'm gonna have to build a bridge over to there. Just to get other stuff that I can't really get here, like this. That's a jungle. I zoom in here. Okay, that's a jungle with a bunch of resources that this forest and this cold forest doesn't have. And these are like, take like 200 chops to drop them down, but they don't regrow, which is unfortunate because they're really awesome trees. I like to regrow a bunch of them wherever I wanted to, run a tree farm. But at some point, we'll run a big ass bridge over here for more access to more stuff. But that's going to be really expensive and a lot of wood, and I'll have to work on that. And one of the first things I'm going to need, because I'm going to have to take, I've been holding off. I haven't wanted to take it, but I'm going to have to. What do we get here? Oh, this is the, workflow with a campfire. See, the problem is that, here, you know what? I'll take that. Fine. I don't put campfires. I don't put campfires in a room. Who puts campfire? Like, when you put a campfire in a room, you put stoves in a room. You put ovens. You put a campfire in a room. So I don't know if it wants to be actually alone or just in the neighborhood of alone. I'm gonna have to take hewing. Gonna have to. There's a whole bunch of unlocks I need in it. And I'm going to have to take... Where is it? And I'm going to have to take mortaring, so it blows both of my stars. Because I need access to the kind of stuff that this is going to give me. A mortaring specialist. Things like not having to spend 1,000,000 blocks and a small boatload of pitch to make mortared stone. So I thought about what we were going to do here, and it dawned on me that last time, not only did we have a much larger butcher shop than I was thinking we were going to need, it also had numerous tables in it. Maybe had 3, right? So let's get this. What am I here? These are the books I went and researched last episode. Butchery. Let's get these all out of the way. Farming. That. I don't have any stars in it right now. Our hewing just went right through the roof. Lavish workspace or frugal? I gotta go with lavish. I have to. We're gonna wind up having to build a real nice place for our sawmill, but I think we'll be able to do it. Go down here. What's it under? Oh, it's under hunting. Hunting. Butchery. So we have nothing in it yet. We also have no stars to spend. Gonna be a little bit, unfortunately. But since we're going with multiple tables, it's gonna have to be with a 5x5 inside, 3 high, so that'll give us 75 blocks worth of space, right? That math's out properly, yes? Okay, good. I'm glad we both agree on this. Plus, it'll give me a bit more room to, let's... There. Also, in all the time I spent making pitch, I suddenly had an awful goddamn lot of experience in mortaring, which means I get things like mortared limestone, and I can make much nicer buildings now. So 3 high on the inside means 4 on the out. Go away, you. There. Be my mortared stone. We'll go with a simple mortared stone facade here in the front. And then the rest of it can be mortared limestone, because I've got a ton of it all of a sudden. And I think it fits better for the quasi hygienic conditions that a butcher shop should have. And now that I think I'm moving this door over one. Let's put you here. You know what? I've got enough windows. I have enough. Why are you like this game? Why? Okay, give me that wood now. Thank you. Let's grab our windows. Little walls. Yes, I could go with other windows here, but I want something that's a slightly different, Yeah, I gotta go 2. I gotta go 2 high. 2 high windows just look better, and this is supposed to be like a storefront anyway. Give those logs back. That looks way more like a storefront, doesn't it? Way more like a storefront. I do have a door on me. More friggin' land claim papers. Give me a door. That door back. So what are you hinging on? Dang, okay, fine. You know what? I'm left-handed. I'll just have to deal with that. Stupid right-handed world where everything faces the wrong way anyway. We'll go port. Hopefully I've got enough stone to finish this. So, of course, I ran out of materials. So I made a bit more mortared limestone. Yep. Go ham or go home, right? And while I was doing that, threw 3 more books on the table. And after this, the research is really gonna slow down. This is smelting is just ore and mortared stone, and I'll just show you right here where it's smelting. Ore, mortared stone, and hewn logs, which we have in abundance. Milling is two of the same things, wheat and corn, which we have in abundance. Actually got around, harvested all of that, got a ton of wheat out of it. It's good, because we're going to make us an awful lot of like flour and bread and stuff one of these days. What's the other one? Paper milling, which is cheap, right there. Mortared stone, hewn logs. We'll make paper. Paper doesn't really get us nothing here in the research table, but it shows up over here in here. Yeah, so you make it here, and then it gets used in bookshelves, registrar. I don't have that one. What's that do? That's a new one. Stop that. And shelf cabinets, which are basically just places to store stuff. Bookshelves. Bookshelves used to add to a room. Now they don't. It's odd. Oh, no, okay, it does. Counts as shelves. Actually got a furniture type now. Yield 30. So this yield thing, if you put one, if you have it in a room of the appropriate level of materials, it's worth points towards your house. And I'm going to have to build a house here because I need, what, I just learned 3 things. I have no stars to learn them, and I just threw 3 more on there. Going to have to build a tier 1 house just to really jack up those points. And I don't quite know in this version what it's going to do. However, I did manage to finish off the butcher shop. It's very plain. It's shockingly plain. It's just a butcher shop. Or sit here, watch someone work. I shouldn't have put that window there. But anything else I put there isn't going to connect just because the way the game works. So we'll just end it off here with our appropriately named the meat factory. That's the first actual building here on the strip. Okay, look. I'm paying you good money. Do something, will you? You're gonna wind up. Yeah, yep. You're not a plant. You understand that? You're not a plant. Yeah. Just fuzz out. Who cares? Alright, so our first building here on the shore. Like I said, I've got no stars. I'm gonna need a couple more chests in here, and I'll have to decorate it with tables and chairs and stuff. But we can finally get in on. Well, if I connected any of the inventories, we can start butchering stuff. Right now, I have to figure out what to butcher a lot of to get points in butchery. Once I have the a star to put into it, right? Because right now I can do it, but you don't get much out of it. Like everything costs 1. Okay, so we'll get some of the things we need. The point behind that is that even if you don't want to spec out into these things, you still have access to the resources, right? Like I could never spec into butchery, and all it would really cost me is all the really good food, which if we're playing on a server wouldn't matter, right? Like someone else would have this, and I would get this just for the furs, so I could get tailoring, right? So I wouldn't have to take butchery to take tailoring. The butcher guy can just trade me furs for cloth and furniture and whatever like that. It's the way the economies are supposed to work. Single player, on the other hand, takes a bit longer to get these things done. As is, all I can do is butcher stuff and get the meat right now, so it's not really worth it. I get really, like, until I get at least a star and something, then I can start chewing through something like these 11 elk, and that'll get me a bunch of points and better things, right? So I'll need prepared meat. Prime cut, It's using a bunch of high-end stuff. But the high-end stuff has never really been all that interesting to me. And it's such a pain in the ass to make. Right? Like, the truth is, I'll, top out at, like, raw bacon. Bacon and roast, because then you get all the scrap metal to make scrap meat, which you use for a lot of other stuff. Anything new? Pineapple friend rice. What the hell? Charred pineapples. Charred pineapples. That's an interesting one. Boiled rices. Rice is a word that the poro is still rice. Soft and fluffy boiled rice. How do I make that? Oh, in a kit. Holy moly! I need a kitchen to boil rice. Boil rice in an iron pot over a campfire. Boil rice on my hot plate here in my basement. Ugh. Anyway, I still gotta edit this, and I got other things to do tonight. So we're just gonna count Meat Factory is done. I'll have to get this off of here and figure out how we're gonna pave this whole strip so it doesn't look quite like, just sand. And eventually we'll develop it all, but that's going to be for later, and that's going to be for the future, in which I will see you later.